Welcome back. With Veterans Day coming up tomorrow, we are now taking a moment to recognize the special contribution of New Mexico veterans here to the U.S. And we are joined this morning by celebrity historian, our good friend Raffi Andonian, telling us more about this. Raffi, always good to have you with us.
Of course, I even brought, like, Veterans Day is about commemoration. I even brought these commemorative Air Force cards.
Very cool.
You know, we're commemorating the various planes from important moments in American history flown by veterans of the United States.
Yeah. So the history of the actual holiday itself for Veterans Day here in the U.S., I mean, that kind of goes back a number of years.
It does. It goes back to the Great War, World War I, the war to end all wars. It was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, where the ceasefire was agreed to before the treaty that later came to end World War I. Now, here's a funny story about that. I was on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In 2011, I was in London Heathrow changing planes to go to Spain to present in a conference, and I'm rushing, worried about missing my transfer, and the entire airport stopped.
Really?
For the commemoration. They stopped
Really?
it. I ended up missing my flight because of it.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how important that day is globally, nationwide, worldwide. Here in the United States, what happened is they celebrated it as an Armistice Day on November 11th. But after World War II, the nature of it started to change, because when World War II happened, it was no longer just World War I. Now you had this huge loss in World War II of men and people. How are we going to commemorate it? Well, as a result, more World War II, then eventually Korean War people are involved, and eventually Armistice Day changes over to Veterans Day, and that's how you have Veterans Day being broader.
Yep. And you know, getting back to the New Mexico angle on this, and in relation to World War II, code talkers, the contribution from those gentlemen from here in New Mexico.
They are the secret weapon, is what I would say, to the war. Now, for example, you have a few hundred Marines, Navajo code talkers that joined, oddly enough, who had been through what were known as Indian schools, which is these boarding schools that taught them that their language was bad. Well, now the country is calling upon them because of the language being used as code. It actually also helped that they'd been through boarding school because they'd done military-style training like a boarding school might do. So when they found themselves in the Pacific Theater, I'll give you a couple reasons why it was so successful. One is efficiency. So normally, when you were trying to translate in code talking, not in Navajo, but prior to that in World War II, what you had was 3 lines of English would take about half an hour to do. Now, 3 lines took about 20 seconds. That's how quickly. And the second thing is, it was impossible to decipher. Throughout all the years of the Pacific War, and they were engaged in all the main Pacific engagements, they never had the code cracked. In fact, I'll give you an example. In the Battle of Iwo Jima, which was a month long, they sent 800 messages during that battle. Not one time was the code cracked. Not even their family knew decades later until the government declassified the code, which you can find online, by the way, on the CIA's website.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's immensely fascinating. Some other few New Mexicans winning the Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. So Alejandro Ruiz, he was someone that fought in World War II from New Mexico and from Carlsbad, and what he did was take on an offensive position. So his men had stalled, his gun ran out of ammo and then was jammed, so he starts clubbing the enemy, kills 10 people, goes back, gets more grenades, gets more ammunition, goes back to try to take over the enemy, covers the offensive of his men going across because of the heroism that he did. Another person I'd point out is Hiroshi Miyamura. He was from Gallup. He covered a defensive position. That was really fascinating. He had a machine gun, but the machine gun eventually runs out of ammunition, and they take on a massive attack with overwhelming numbers. Well, he ends up bayoneting people. Bayonet is when you use the sword at the end, bayoneting people to a second position, starts to fire the machine gun and is wounded, taking care of the wounded as he's doing so, kills 50 of the enemy to cover the defensive retreat. His unit had to eventually retreat, but he gets overtaken by the enemy, covering his men as he's wounded and doing all that he did with the weapons and using the resources he had.
Some rich history there and rich ties to New Mexico.